Representative Nate Walker at this time.
Thank you, Larry. I don't know how special I am, but hey, it's especially nice to be here. And we're going to honor Dr. Jack Magruder tonight. And when I got here, he wasn't here yet, but he's always going around places and so forth. But earlier today, I was down at the state capitol, and we did something kind of interesting today. We had the cornerstone removed, and they took out a time capsule. You've probably been hearing about it on the news. And then we put a new time capsule in there. And 100 years from now, I won't be around. Probably not anybody here will be around, but they'll do the same thing. But it was really fun to do that. The governor was there. He gave a nice speech. And lots of legislators and lots of other people in the Masonic Order of Missouri were there. And they did a wonderful job. They did their ritual. I'm a Mason myself. But it was just a wonderful opportunity. So when Dr. Magruder came in today, I got to shake his hand. And then I thought, well, man, how lucky. I got to shake the governor's hand. That was the last hand I remember shaking. I shake a lot of hands. And I got to shake Dr. Magruder's hand. But it's a beautiful place to be here. And when I was telling some people about where I was going, they didn't know where Hurdland was. And I thought, man, how silly could that be? Because I think it's 163 people here. And I grew up in a little community called Annabelle. Do you all know where Annabelle is? Okay, well, Annabelle is between Clarence and Macon. And so I went to a one-room schoolhouse there and graduated from there, went to Macon High School and stuff like that. But usually I give speeches and they'd say, I know, people in Annabelle are a lot smarter because they know where other towns are and so forth. But the people of Hurdland are pretty smart because they knew where Annabelle was. And that's pretty amazing. But tonight we're here to recognize the career of Dr. Jack Magruder. And I get to do these resolutions from time to time. Last week I got to give a resolution out to a lady of 104. A couple of weeks earlier I got to give one to Shag Grossnickel, who turned 100. Well, Dr. Magruder's not even 80 years old. And he's going to get one of these things, but it's not for that purpose. But anyway, he said to me, we're talking about doing this, and I said, I can bring it out to your house, or we can just give it to you sometime. He said, no, I got the perfect place for that. He says, in a couple of weeks or so, I'm going to be over to the Hurdland for the 4th of July ceremony, and it's going to be the reunion. This is where I started teaching, and I'd like to do it there. And so, what better place to do it? So then, I started gathering information up about it. And there's a lot of stuff about Dr. Magruder. So I gave all the information to the person that helps write the resolutions. They came back, and I said, this is not going to work. They said, why not? I said, there's no mention of Hurdland in it. And they said, well, we're honoring him for retirement from Mobile Area Community College. And I said, yeah, that's correct. But there's a lot of other things. But I said, we're going to do this in Hurdland, so we got to have Hurdland in this resolution, or we're in big trouble. And so anyway, we knocked off a whole lot of other stuff. They said we really did everything you want in this thing. It's going to take about 6 resolutions to get it all in. Well, tonight, I'm going to recognize Dr. Jack Magruder, his wife Sue. Dr. Magruder, and he can talk about some of his experiences when he gets up here, but he started teaching in the classroom right here at Hurdland School, and pretty neat because a lot of other little stops along the way. Being a teacher at Truman State University, being on the faculty, and then being in different leadership roles, then being president. And then taking the school from Northeast Missouri State College, or whatever it was at the time when he started, to Truman State University. And to do that with grace and dignity, and to get the legislature to go along with it was a major accomplishment. So he was president of Truman State University for a number of years. Sue said that's enough, so he retired. They had a pretty nice life and everything, going on a few trips, and he was riding his horse and different things, and then all of a sudden, A.T. Still University called and said, Jack, we need a little help. And so he went there. He's going to be there for just a short time, I think. He ended up, was there for several years, but in the time frame of that, he worked with the Board of Governors and the Board of Trustees there and got the dental school established. This is a dental school They went to Kirksville with competition from all over the country, from San Diego to Orlando or other places. And through his leadership there, they got the dental school. So now it's time for him to retire again. And so he announced his retirement, spent some time helping the new president, Dr. Phelps, kind of get oriented to the job. And so he retired. And then they drove off in a convertible. And they were waving and everything seemed all right soon. And then the next thing you know, he's teaching chemistry for Mobley Area Community College. And anyway, he just retired. Looked it over here, and there's a retirement thing there. But anyway, tonight, hopefully, this will be the last resolution he gets till he becomes 100. And then when he becomes 100, he can get another resolution. But if somebody wants to give a resolution, that's okay. But tonight, I want to present to him, Dr. Jack Magruder, a resolution from the Missouri House of Representatives. Your state representative, Craig Redmond, and other representatives voted for this. And it's signed by the Speaker of the House, Todd Richardson, and I've signed it. But I don't have my glasses on. There's a lot of whereases, but I've already talked a lot. But the first or second whereas talks about Hurdland School. You can come up and look at it, and let's do it. So at this time, Dr. Magruder, Mr. Newcott, you come up too if you'd like to. He just got back, I think, from a little vacation and so forth, but it's a great honor that I recognize you tonight with this good resolution. And when we give the microphone to you, you can say anything you want to, which I don't need to give information to. Wait, they want to take a picture right here. Okay.
Whereas Dr. Magruder began his career in the classroom teaching junior high mathematics at Hurdland School and appropriately ended his career in the classroom at Mobley area. But I sure like that Hurdland School business. I drove over here as you know, I was a student and I was a senior in college and I taught it half a day. Mr. Porter was superintendent. He took a chance on me. And when I got in there and had the Larry Sykes and Gene McCartney and Mike Ray, Max back there, and was Ira here? Yeah, right here. Yeah, and then I had that real smart girl, Janice Vance. Where is she? Yeah. Well, and Karen, I mean, I had a whole bunch. Larry Sykes taught me so much that year. I knew if I could survive here, I could make it anywhere. And then the crazy thing happened. I had Gene McCartney's granddaughter in my chemistry class last year. Boy, that's really something. Now, would you hold up your hand if you were in my class? I didn't mention everybody. Oh, yes, Kelly. Okay, let me see this again. Okay, look at all those people. Boy, aren't they smart? Listen, I want to thank Nate for doing this. I really appreciate it. And the first event I attended here as a school reunion, somebody said, "Why don't you have Hurdland School in the resume when something comes out?" And I went back and I put that in, and every single time after that, Hurdland was mentioned there. Now, Hurdland's a pretty good-sized city. I grew up at Lintner. Anybody know where Lintner, Missouri is? 105 people there when we were there, and there were 7 in my family. And when we left to go to Kirksville in 1943, that left 98 people. That was significant change in their community. Anyway, Kirksville was my home, but Hurdland has always been in my heart from the time I used to travel over here, spend every afternoon here, and I worked with some wonderful youngsters. And I really appreciate it. And they're still friends. I consider all of them really good friends. So thank you all. And thank you, Nate, Larry, and all the rest of them. Thank you so much.
You know, our class, we take all the credit. The class of 61 takes all the credit. We take 40% of the credit for how he's turned out, okay? He gives Sue 60% because she kicked him out the door every morning. All right? We groomed him to be president of the United States, and I just asked him all ago, why? You had a chance to run for governor. Why didn't you run? Sue said, I told him if he runs for governor, the only thing he's going to get from me is letters because I'm not going down there. So, guys, listen, we have, I want to recognize another teacher, Lawrence Schroeder. Would you stand up, please? You know, I went down and talked to his class one time down in Knox County. And I said, guys, can I talk to you a minute? I said, Mr. Schroeder was trying to teach us blueprints and drawings and everything, and I'm not paying attention. The next thing you know, I changed careers. This guy brought me a whole back seat of blueprints. Learn these by spring. And then I thought, my God, if I'd have just paid a little more attention to that. He was definitely a good teacher. This guy right here is an excellent teacher, and I'll tell you why he was. He expected more out of you than any other teachers did. He pushed you to the limit. Am I right, guys? He pushed you. Good teacher. So we're very happy to have Mr. Walker here. It was great. We appreciate all of everything. And we're so glad for your career. And you will take that woman on vacation in 3 months. All right, we will go